The Black Lives Matter movement brought its fight to Frankfort today.
Say my name!
And Breonna Taylor's name was heard loud and clear.
This protest is being intentionally held here at the Capitol because inside of this building is the office of Kentucky's Attorney General, and this crowd wants him to take action. They're calling for justice for Breonna. They want the Attorney General to arrest and charge the officers involved in her death.
If there's nothing else that we do, we are committed to getting justice for Breonna Taylor.
Hollywood stars like Jada Pinkett Smith and Common traveled to Kentucky to encourage people to keep fighting for change.
This criminal justice system, that's all targeted for us. What the police are doing, that's all from slavery to the Reconstruction era, to the Jim Crow, to mass incarceration. And what the police are doing, they've been trying to keep us as second-class citizens for so long.
The crowd also heard from Breonna Taylor's boyfriend, Kenneth Walker. He was there the night Louisville Metro Police used a no-knock warrant and entered Breonna's apartment.
I know you ain't heard a lot from me, if anything, but I just want to let y'all know I appreciate all the love and support from me and most definitely for Breonna. She would appreciate it too.
And Breonna's mom, Tamika Palmer, thanked everyone for fighting for her daughter.
Without y'all, I swear, without all these people, I don't know where I'd be at right now, at home crying still by myself with my daughter.
Palmer also revealed this sign to the crowd. She says it's a gift to all of the state leaders, a gift with a message.
Know that Breonna life mattered, and y'all being out here is showing support shows that her life mattered. And we not done until they know that her life mattered.
And today, they made sure Kentucky's leaders got that message. In Frankfort, Carolina Buchek, LEX 18 News.
In the archives at LEX 18 are memories of Anita Franklin. A Lexington mom turned community activist.
People ask me, when am I going to stop doing this? And my answer remains the same: when the crime stops. We realize that we got to do something. We got to do something. One murder is one too many, and we've had 10.
We first met Anita during her darkest moments, after her 21-year-old son Antonio was shot and killed in a park in 2014. Police said he was hit by random gunfire.
Tony is gone. He's in heaven right now, so we just want to make sure that no one has to feel the way I feel.
Even through her grief, she found it within herself to show grace to her son's killers.
After today and watching him, I do forgive Damian, and I want him to do better.
And she wanted our elected officials to do better. Her grief morphed into activism. She joined Moms Demand Action in her push to end gun violence.
You have messed with the wrong mom this time.
Last summer, Anita delivered a petition to Senator Mitch McConnell's office calling for common sense gun reform. And before she garnered national attention, she was one of the most recognizable figures in Lexington, organizing an annual March for Peace in the very park where her son was killed.
We want them to know they need to live in peace, so they don't have to say rest in peace.
She was passionate. She spoke from the heart, and I think that's why she was so effective, because she gave the survivors, the victims, a voice.
What I'm trying to do is encourage other people to talk about what's happened to them, to take back their streets, take back their community.
Her fight may have been cut short, but her message will almost certainly live on. In Lexington, Mike Valenti, LEX 18 News.
I can't work, I can't eat, I can't stay at home, I can't drive my car, I can't do anything.
For more than a month, Nina Mason has been in hiding, afraid of what could happen next.
I'm scared.
Understandably so. Here's a glimpse of what she says has been a living nightmare. Her car vandalized with spray paint and her tires cut 4 separate times.
I feel like slashing of the tires is just the beginning.
Mason says it all began October 29th. When she left her job in Lexington and reported to police, she found her car covered in orange spray paint, her tires slashed beyond repair. The same day, she tells me, she came home to Winchester and found this: her entire apartment doused in bleach.
I don't deserve this.
In this report taken by the Clark County Sheriff's Office, a deputy documented damage to 2 couches and a love seat as well as damage to radios, TVs, VCRs, and other electronics. In the report's narrative, the deputy wrote that Mason told him someone she knew poured bleach on all her furniture, bedding, and clothing, and punched holes in both of her large screen TVs.
I have no clothes, no furniture, no TVs, and everything. Everything is gone.
After filing police reports in Lexington and Winchester, Mason got this court-issued domestic violence order ordering her ex-boyfriend to stay away. No contact, period.
Every time I hear a noise, I think it's him outside.
On November 18th, Mason says she told the Clark County Sheriff's Office and the county attorney that her tires were vandalized again, this time outside her Winchester apartment.
I'm scared I'm going to die.
In a report taken by another sheriff's deputy, Mason alleged that her ex could have caused the damage. She says earlier that morning, a neighbor's camera caught this video of someone walking to her car, bending down near her tires. And 2 nights later at her apartment, Mason claims the neighbor's camera captured a person walking to her car again and hovering around the sides of it. She filed another police report alleging the same individual slashed all 4 tires on her silver 2017 Toyota Camry. No one has been charged in either incident.
I don't understand why I can't get any help, why I have to keep paying for tires.
Mason thought for sure the first video from her neighbor's camera would convince authorities she was in danger, but says the Clark County attorney told her the video wasn't clear enough to identify the person. No charges were filed. We asked him about it.
I still have guidelines and protocol to follow. I can't tell from looking at the video, even really and truly, I couldn't say for sure that I know the gender of the person portrayed in the video.
We also talked to Clark County Sheriff Burl Perdue, who told us the cases are still open. He said he considers Mason's ex a person of interest.
I can't keep doing this. I can't live like this.
On the early morning of November 25th, the day before Thanksgiving, Nina Mason texted me these pictures, telling me that her tires had been vandalized again here at her job in Lexington. She was afraid. She didn't know what to do. She asked us to help her.
She said her company's security system caught it on camera.
All 4 of my tires are flat again. I was like, oh no, not again.
We called the Clark County Sheriff's Office to tell them Mason was afraid for her safety and had questions ourselves about the domestic violence order against her ex. A deputy looked into the matter, and so did we. According to court records, the county attorney's office had already prepared this arrest warrant on her ex-boyfriend for violating the DVO. It was generated on November 23rd, but had not been served.
And then on the 25th of November, I think you called Detective Aaron Matthews in the Clark County Sheriff's Department and asked him why this warrant hadn't been served. At some point in time, that led to a call to the Scott County Sheriff's.
November 25th, Scott County deputies arrested Edward Davis at his job on a warrant for violating the domestic violence order. According to the warrant, Davis violated the no contact order when he allegedly sent a threatening text to the victim and was alleged to have damaged Mason's property. Clark County Attorney William Elkins told me the damage pertains to the tire slashing at her home the first time. The violation is a misdemeanor. Davis paid a $2,500 bond and was released from jail the same day.
I am fearful. I have never, ever experienced anything in my life like this.
On December 10th, Edward Davis was arrested again, this time on 3 warrants in Lexington, connected to the 2 alleged vandalism incidents at Mason's job. Police charged him with 2 counts of criminal mischief and 1 count of violating the domestic violence order. According to the arrest warrants, on both occasions, the same suspect was seen on video surveillance near Mason's vehicle when it was vandalized. In the tire slashing on November 25th, the officer wrote the video surveillance system showed the suspect pull into the parking lot a few minutes after Mason arrives. It goes on to say the suspect was seen getting out of his vehicle and walking to Mason's vehicle, and after being by her car 15 to 30 seconds, he leaves the parking lot. After his second arrest on December 10th, Davis bonded out of jail the next day after someone posted his $5,000 cash bond. After first declining to speak with me, Edward Davis changed his mind and later told me over the phone he had nothing to do with vandalism of Mason's property. He called her a scorned woman who was trying to set him up and vows to clear his name in court.
I don't bother anybody. I just go to work and I go home.
As for Nina Mason, she says she'll continue living in hiding, wondering what could happen next.
I can't keep doing this. I can't live like this. Why should I? Why should I have to live like this?
Lee Searcy, Evening Edition.
So many people here just wanted to know why some of these measures weren't taken sooner. LEX 18's Michael Burke talked to people in line today here to get their unemployment claims answered, and he continues our big story team coverage.
Well, they say good things come to those who wait. The people behind me have been waiting for a very long time, and many walked away with the good news they've been waiting to hear. The line stretched around the building and went on for several hundred yards, and that was just the April, May, and June line. Those who filed in March got their own line, and that wasn't any shorter. Thousands of Kentuckians have been without their much-needed unemployment insurance, some for more than 90 days. So they took advantage of this chance to meet with a representative in person. The process, while lengthy and frustrating, seems to be working, as many emerged from the Family and Health Services building in Frankfort with the news they so desperately needed to hear.
They're saying I'm getting all my money, and it should be there within a couple of days.
Really?
Yes, I'm very relieved.
The only thing that saved me was getting the stimulus, of course, and then I think I got my tax refund, but the good Lord above provided. That's all I can say. There were some days I was so frustrated. My anxiety was bad.
But now, relief.
Now it's way better.
That's got to be the best part of the job right there, to get to talk to people who have some good news after struggling for so many months. So while the process may be tedious at best, it certainly appears as if it's working a lot better than just calling in and waiting. In Lexington, Michael Burke, LEX 18 News.
No matter how long they had to wait in line, these people were optimistic they'd get an answer today that they've been waiting for on their unemployment, and promised they'd get just that, even though the hours were 9 to 6 and they were still in line after 6 p.m.
Oh, I'm just ecstatic about being able to see somebody in person, because if not, I don't think it would be maybe August, September before we even got to anybody.
There were so many people in line this morning. The line wrapped through the parking lot, past those cars, and up that hill. Now, the office tells me they had to turn away nearly 600 people because they knew they wouldn't be able to get to them today.
I was overwhelmed when I got to the line, but the people that were walking through have been really helpful, you know, keeping everybody calm and like, we're going to get to you, so don't worry. So today's been helpful.
In a matter of minutes, optimism quickly changed to tears and frustration.
They turning everybody away. People been out here since 9:30 this morning.
People inside refused to leave, causing more police officers to be called in. Outside, everyone voiced their frustrations after being told 10 minutes before 7 o'clock they wouldn't be seen today.
These two kids right here have been in this line for 10 hours with water and chips because they told us we would be seen no matter what if we was above so-and-so line.
The office blamed the computer system shutting down at 7 and not being able to input any new information.
They know it. If there was an emergency in the government, they needed to get into the computer system. Do you think they would not get into it?
Mackenzie Reed and Emion Jackson got in line at 9 a.m. Mackenzie is 5 months pregnant, has gone 3 months without a paycheck, and they just received an eviction notice.
Am I supposed to live on the streets? Am I supposed to just have my baby on the streets and be homeless with her? That's not safe. I was told that the government was here to help me, but I'm not receiving any help.
The Kentucky Education and Workforce Development Cabinet released a statement that the capacity had been reached and everyone left would be reached by a phone call. But the people here say that's not enough.
Of course I'm furious. Of course I'm frustrated. Of course I'm angry with you all. Of course I want to get loud because you all have told me that before and I've received nothing.
The people left in line tonight were not guaranteed a spot in the beginning of the line for in-person unemployment help tomorrow. In Frankfort, Jacqueline Nye, LEX 18 News.
For many black families, the talk comes very early. Moms and dads explaining to their children what they need to know if they're pulled over by police. It's a real talk about how they should act
and what they should or should not say. As Kristen Edwards reports, it's a conversation that is passed on from generation to the next.
It's unfortunate that it has to be a thing. It really is.
Joseph Dix had the talk with his father at 5 years old. It was the first time he was told that police may treat him unfairly simply because he's a black man in America.
You gotta use self-control at all times. One thing my dad always said, and don't pop off at the mouth, and just remain calm.
As he got older, those lessons felt more real, especially when he saw his dad get pulled over for the first time.
But he said, son, when a situation like this happen, he says, just do what I do. You stop, okay? He says, you turn the car off, you put the keys on the dashboard, you put your hands on the steering wheel, and you just be respectful to the cops. When they pull you over, it's not always for the right reasons, but don't give them any extra ammunition to using this type of force.
Now, as an uncle, he's helping to teach his nephew the same lesson, that being black means he has to be overly cautious around officers.
As a black man, I'm automatically seen as more suspicious or more criminal. So they're already on edge when they approach my car. So I need to do my best to stay in character, keep myself at ease, calm, make sure that I don't do anything that might, set them off.
Dix says he hopes one day the talk will no longer be necessary.
We wish that we didn't have to have them, but we do.
But understands that may never come to fruition. Kristen Edwards, LEX 18 News.
If you don't know what white privilege is or aren't sure if you've ever witnessed or experienced it, it's not your fault. It's probably just because you're white.
You asked me earlier this morning if I ever saw examples of white privilege out there, and the truth is I didn't. I couldn't come up with anything that I could readily speak to off the top of my head.
There's a reason for that, and this former Lexington detective hit it on the head.
And that may be something that I just am not very perceptive to because I'm white, and as a result, you could call that privilege in and of itself.
You could call that the very definition of it. Sarah Fahim runs a foundation called We Run with Wolves, which offers personal and corporate empathy training.
White privilege is one of the most enduring forms of privilege.
Sarah endured it in a different manner than most. Her father is Egyptian.
And he's a very dark-skinned man, and so he got pulled over often for that. He got asked questions about how he was raising me.
Questioning him for no other reason than having much darker skin than his daughter. White privilege can come in all forms and fashion, even inside the corner drugstore.
And pick up a prescription or toothpaste and tell the cashier that I don't need a receipt or a bag. I think my siblings of color have been trained their whole lives to get that receipt in that bag because they will be asked if they've stolen something.
Much the way Sarah's father was questioned about his daughter, gave her a deep understanding of the privilege from both spectrums.
People live an existence that is so completely different from yours, you don't actually believe it's happening.
Dr. Mark McCoy at SMU in Dallas, Texas agrees.
It's like fish in water. Fish don't notice that they're in water.
Dr. McCoy got a glimpse into white privilege 2 decades ago. He tweeted about being arrested for accidentally passing a counterfeit bill from an ATM. George Floyd was accused of the same. That tweet garnered more than 2 million likes, and McCoy was asked by Newsweek magazine to write about the experience.
I don't think it says anything about the moral character of people who don't notice their own white privilege. That's understandable. But we've got a lot of tools now.
And as we know, tools can be used to fix things.
White privilege is certainly a barrier to realizing Dr. King's dream. But as I always say, the ultimate issue is a lack of common memory.
And white people do not have that common thread, never will. But maybe for the first time, we have a real and honest good start.
The vast majority of people who have interacted with that message have been positive.
Positivity is one thing. What we really need is understanding, recognition.
Most white people don't believe in the history.
Most white people don't even believe in the privilege.
It means that your hardships and the way that you have suffered is not because of the color of your skin.
I am very well aware of what kinds of advantages I have in the world.
2 men, 1 white, 1 black, accused of the same crime. One was just published in Newsweek. The other was eulogized yesterday. You needn't know the whole story to know which was which. That too is white privilege. Michael Burke for Evening Edition.
According to the Center for American Progress, most DACA recipients have lived the majority of their lives in the United States. They've grown up with the American experience, but they aren't citizens. So while they won't be casting a ballot this election, they are mobilizing others to do so. Here in Kentucky, you'll find nearly 3,000 people whose lives will be shaped by the 2020 election, but who cannot legally vote. People like Veva Segura.
I always knew that our status was different.
Segura's family immigrated from Mexico to the United States when she was 7 years old.
This is home. Lexington has been my home.
In 2012, Segura's status stabilized with the creation of the DACA program. But the future of the program lies in the outcome of the election. So when she found out her boyfriend wasn't planning on voting, she took it personally.
Like, you not choosing to vote or get registered is like you don't care about my future, because my life, like so many other people, are in the front lines of a lot of policies that are going to hurt our communities.
Segura says having him register wasn't enough. Together, they downloaded a sample ballot, and Segura helped walk him through it.
I think there's always something that we are able to do, whether you can vote or not.
Segura isn't alone in taking on a role pushing loved ones to the polls. In a recent survey, more than 94% of DACA recipients said they plan to use their voices to encourage family and friends who are eligible to vote to do so. Jose Nino is that person for his family.
If he can be the one vote difference, then that has a lot of significance.
Nino says he took his stepfather to get registered the same day he became an American citizen.
He's giving those who don't have a voice an opportunity to one day have a voice through his vote.
And though they themselves can't take their voice to the polls,
I just hope for the best.
Maybe others will carry it for them. In Lexington, Sophia Millar, Evening Edition.
49-year-old Darla Nagy was a non-believer. This despite having several forms of arthritis, osteoporosis, being on medication, and knowing her antibodies were low.
Before all this, I really thought COVID-19, I called it the political flu. I thought it was a lie. I just thought they were throwing numbers out there for people to be scared and stuff. And it's not a lie, people, it's real. It's real.
A few weeks ago, she started having symptoms and was sent home from 2 hospitals, even though she tested positive for COVID-19. Then she took a turn for the worst.
My son come and I was unresponsive in my room. So they called the ambulance. I don't remember none of it. And they took me to Central Baptist.
She says that was on November 14th. The next date she remembers is November 30th. Darla went into a coma and on a ventilator for about a week. In addition to COVID-19, she says she had double pneumonia and was septic. Since she arrived home a week ago still on oxygen, life hasn't been easy.
The first night I got home, I got in the shower. I sat there for over 2 hours because I couldn't remember which way was hot and which way was cold. So it's been a struggle, but I'm alive. And I'll heal. The Lord's brought me this far. Apparently my job's not done yet.
She says her doctor told her in 6 months to a year she should have her memory and strength back. But right now to Darla, that feels far away.
I'm depressed because I can't remember things, and I'm so used to taking care of my family instead of my kids taking care of me. And it's just been really rough, but I'm alive.
Alive and hopeful her story will show others COVID's for real. In Jessamine County, Claire Kopsky, LEX 18 News.
The University of Kentucky is wrapping up its first full week of classes, and we wanted to see how students felt about these first few days back. So we drove to campus to see what they have to say. We posed the question, how did your first week of classes go? And students walked up to the mic to speak their minds.
How did my first week of classes go? They went really well.
This week was pretty crazy, but meeting new people and trying to make the most of it.
Many gave the week a big thumbs up.
My first week of classes went really well.
They went surprisingly smoothly.
I think my first week of classes went pretty well.
But almost everyone we talked to said they're struggling to adapt to online courses.
I was like super nervous.
Which have drastically changed the university experience.
It was super weird.
I wasn't expecting most really hybrid classes, but kind of glad that I'm here now and not just stuck in my room, so I'll just take what I can get.
And with more virtual courses comes fewer students on campus.
I would have preferred that campus be more lively.
Several also praised UK for the work it's done to make sure the semester goes smoothly.
It's been pretty great so far. UK is doing a great job of keeping us safe.
I think UK is actually doing a really good job of keeping everything organized in this really weird time.
Overall, the responses were fairly positive. Students said that they're excited to be back on campus again, but they are hoping that things will go back to normal soon. In Lexington, Kristen Edwards, LEX 18 News.
February 19, 2020 is approved as written.
Just like every other member of the Kentucky House, Representative Josie Raymond casts votes.
So I vote no.
Meets with the people she represents.
Let's try to mitigate that type of risk.
And is constantly on the move for work. But she does it all with a newborn at her side.
Yeah. But who doesn't love seeing a baby in the middle of their workday?
This is Faye. She's 5 weeks old and does exactly what you would expect from a little baby.
She'll be doing some tummy time. She'll have a bottle every few hours, and hopefully we'll get a full diaper. That feels so much better.
But she does it all at the Capitol, so Mom can work.
We're really figuring it out. You know, I'm the first woman to give birth while serving in the Kentucky State House. And so it's cool to be a historic first, but there's no one to really guide me in terms of how to navigate it and how to pull it off.
Hey, baby. But they are pulling it off. On the 4th floor of the Capitol, they were given a room for Faye's things.
We've got our pack and play and our mat and our diaper changing area, and we're doing just fine up here on the 4th floor.
When Representative Raymond is up here with Faye, in between diaper changes and playtime, she keeps an eye on televised committee meetings. And when possible, she takes Faye with her to go do other tasks, like meet with constituents.
You need to go forward on that side, or you can try to build a culture within a building.
But one thing we took out that
and listen to debate on the House floor. And when she needs it, she has help.
Okay. I have an incredible husband, and then I have a wonderful nanny, a constituent of mine who drives with me from Louisville every day, and I couldn't do it without each one of them.
Representative Raymond? Here. Typically during a workday, Faye also spends time with her nanny.
I'd like to explain my vote.
Which helps out when Representative Raymond needs to question some big bills moving through this year.
How do you track cash spending?
During that, baby Faye typically takes a nap, where Mom can see her. Right now, she doesn't cry too much, but that doesn't mean things don't get stressful at times.
When we have tough moments and I think, what am I doing? What am I doing here? What is she doing here? You know, I'll hear from moms who say mom goals, or, you know, if you could do it, we can do it, these sorts of things. And that's been really heartening.
But Representative Raymond knows she's one of the lucky ones. She can afford a nanny, and she works a flexible job where she says her colleagues are supportive.
The majority party gave me a wonderful gift basket that's bigger than the baby.
She knows because Kentucky doesn't guarantee parental leave and childcare is very expensive, not all families can do something like this.
But not everyone has that privilege, right? You know, there's so many women who are back at work already who don't have their baby in their arms, and then there's women who choose to leave their positions because they don't have the flexibility they need to care for their child, right? So it's having these conversations in public, out loud, so we can make changes.
And to help with those changes, she's fighting for laws that can help Kentucky's families.
My top legislative priority here has been bringing pre-K for all to every 3- and 4-year-old in the state of Kentucky. I've got a parental leave bill, I've got a full-day kindergarten bill, right? And I'm living this experience. I know that when we invest in families and mothers and children, right, we empower the whole family, the whole community.
And by showing up with her baby, embracing this role as lawmaker and mother, Representative Raymond hopes it changes the way people look at career women starting their families.
You know, it's 2020, but we're not used to seeing mothers with very young children serving in office and in the media and in high positions. And so it means a lot to me to have this responsibility, right, to represent and to show that women who've just had babies are fully capable of participating in the public space.
So her goal is to make this image, a mother with child, the new normal, especially in Kentucky politics.
Clerk will take the roll.
We're trying to normalize it, right? I'm the first woman to give birth while serving in the Kentucky State House, but I will not be the last.